Oh, surprise, we're here.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thought? It's like we've entered the Matrix.
Yeah,
And
we're
we're
back to a month ago.
we're back to a month ago. Let's rewind as if June and July had never happened. Well, July. How you doing, mate?
Oh, doing pretty good. Just
Good.
burning up in the garage. Family just got back. They all went to the demolition derby tonight, and they
All right.
just walked in while we started the intro. So
Right, they walked in and they're doing an actual demolition.
most likely,
That's nice. I've been to a couple of those. They're fun. Hell,
yeah,
I used to do them when I was a kid. They had them at an arena near us in Scotland, and they were on every year, and they were just fabulous.
yeah. They had it out at our, I guess, a county fair this year.
Yeah, it's
So
that kind of thing you get at the county. Yeah,
yep,
good stuff. Hey, well, it's coming up for rodeo time here in my little town in Alberta. We have
yeah,
an annual stampede. There's a big one in Calgary, but there's one here in town. It's just like the second biggest one, I think, or it's pretty big, even though it's a small town. So, like, quite a few thousand people. It's on for 4 days, and I can walk to it from here. Couldn't last
nice.
year because of my back, but I can walk to it. So I can walk there and stagger back.
When I used to have my office downtown before the rodeo, they would do. They'd have just all the bulls would go marching down the main street in town. So I'd
Oh,
sit up
yeah.
on my balcony and just watch bulls go by for 10, 15 minutes.
You didn't try and stop them and milk them
Nope,
then.
not at that time.
But yeah, they have a running of the bulls here as well for that, and they have the chuck wagon race stuff, and then all the other 4 days of rodeo stuff, and a big country gig on the Friday night. I think it's a guy called Jade Eagleson this year. He's a Canadian country star.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Although I hope it's not stinking hot like it is right now. So
Rodeos are usually pretty fun.
oh, they're great. They're fantastic. I might even wear my Stetson.
Yeah.
Just sitting over a bit on top of my
I've got the
N7
boots.
there.
I don't have the Stetson anymore.
Yeah, the only problem is it's hotter than hell. So it's black as well, so it's even worse.
Yeah. Works great for rain, though.
It does, yeah. But then we're wimps. Other than when we're walking around the displays and stuff, we all sit in the grandstand under the cover. So
Eclay's saying you're really low. Can you try to turn yourself up a little bit? Or if
that's.
you've got that auto gain on, you may want to turn it off.
Do you really want to hear me, Eclay? I mean, do you really want to hear me? Do you really want to hurt me? Auto gain control off.
Yeah, turn that off, and hopefully that'll
Background noise
make it.
reduction off. Anyway, it sounds
That
good
one
to
shouldn't
me.
matter.
Right, I've got the gain on my microphone way up. It's like double what it normally is. I think it's an EV Mux doesn't like me. It's an EV
Yeah,
Mux.
that could be
But
part of it.
it is. Speaking of Eclay, though, Eclay did do something for me earlier.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she said. So this is I'm stuck in the middle with you.
Steelers wheel.
Clowns to the left, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. That's actually very close to the tartan that my clan wears, color wise.
You didn't transition it, so we can't see it.
Well, you can just guess.
Yeah.
This frickin' EV Mux thing really kills me.
It's been a while since you've used it, so you forgot all the things you got to do, huh?
So D-Bud Martin doesn't want to hear me speaking Korean, so things like One Hung Lo, Something Wong. What was that news broadcast about the plane?
Yeah, the plane going down.
Wong. I'm practicing my Korean though. 안녕하세요.
I thought all you had to do is learn how to read it.
Yeah. Well, just have to learn. Yeah, exactly. So I just have to learn how to read the English.
Yeah.
But that's very nice, Eclay. Thank you for doing that. I'm appalled. I mean, I'm very happy. You've made an old man very happy. Or is it happy man very old?
We've got him pumped up as much as we can, Drew. It's an EV Mux thing.
It's the gain. It's so loud in my own ears. It's killing me. And I've got my volume down. My gain is way up. I can put it up more. I mean, I've got the gain is now maximum on the microphone.
I
It's
don't
at
know.
max.
That, or I can try turning on auto gain control and you do and see if it levels us both.
I don't know.
Hey, there's
Let me
Gremlin.
just check that my audio is the
Nope,
correct.
Drew's now saying much better. So
No, it's louder than a screaming you. I'll turn it down a bit there. Okay, well, it's right up here. I'm going to keep headbutting it. The things I do for you people. Max gain, Max pain. Anyway, good evening, everybody out there, and thank you for joining us for this finally. Is this a pre-season preview or a wrap-up of last season?
a little bit of both at this point, since we're a month late and
Yeah.
we've only got a couple months until the next season starts rolling.
Yeah, pre-season games, pre-season camps are already underway for younger players. I know it's development camps.
Yeah.
It never stops. Never
No.
stops. But thank you, Drew, for.
It doesn't, but we're not covering development camps, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, preseason games are already lined up for September. The schedules are out, so.
Usually late September, yeah.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Well, I guess we should announce the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup.
Did they? Who? I'd forgotten. I mean, honestly, so long ago.
I know.
Wait, who? The Florida Panthers won?
Somehow they won the Stanley Cup, and
bizarre.
Connor McDavid wins the Conn Smythe.
And
that
doesn't
was
walk
such
out.
a stupid call.
You know, you think they would have had some sense and said, you know what, we're not going to announce it on the ice here. We'll just do it back behind the scenes later. Like, what are they thinking?
Well, no, it was a stupid call to give it to Connor McDavid.
Yeah, but that was always going to happen. Win, lose, or draw. I think that was their intention.
Likely, because that way, every single broadcast next year, we can hear, well, Conn Smythe winning, Connor McDavid.
Yeah. This
just like we'll hear about Bedard's award.
Yeah.
All season long.
I mean, I don't have you may have the clip of that, but this is there's McDavid waiting to leave the ice, surrounded by the rats.
Yep.
And then the cat company slogan, the door, you can't see it, but it says, "Let's do the work." So that's not the sad McDavid picture I was looking for. I'll have to find that one.
I've got the interview with him, so we could play that real quick.
Yeah, but I mean, it did get interesting in the end because it looked like it was going to be a complete wipeout, and then the Oilers did get it back, almost as if it was written that way.
Mm-hmm.
For narrative purposes, but just couldn't quite finish the
job. Squeeze it out.
Just couldn't squeeze it out. And then living in Alberta, the frenzy here was incredible. But also there's constant cries from the media, and the media were so biased on all the national media that were broadcasting the games, everything, all Oilers.
Yeah.
Up here it was like, how can anyone in Canada not support them? The Canadian team that's left. So all the fans of Vancouver and Calgary and other teams were like, why the hell should we support them?
Right.
Like, it doesn't work like that. You don't just ditch
your
team.
Turn on your team because you've got a Canadian team in.
I mean, the Calgary fans weren't cheering for them.
No. Well, here's Connor.
No, I can't hear him. That might be me. Maybe.
It's a pretty quiet clip.
I think you can just tell by his.
We never stop believing. We really believe.
Basically, it's honestly, I mean, it's an honor, but.
I have to say that I would have been. I probably wouldn't have gone out and picked up that trophy either.
What is it? The
Conn Smythe?
No, there was only one other time it's happened, right? And it was a goalie, and he did go out, I believe.
Yeah. I just don't think I kind of agree with him. I just, at that moment, all you'd want to do is be back there with the rest of the players and his team. And
I don't know. It's pretty miserable back there, too.
Well, that's what I mean. Great. But yeah, the frenzy.
I think that's part of being a pro. You get an award that you were voted on. You should go out and at least make an appearance for that award.
I mean, I really didn't. I knew they wanted to give it to him, but I thought Bobrovsky would get it in the end. So.
Me too. If they hadn't let it go to Game 7, Bobrovsky, I think, had it. I think he got kind of beat to crap during those 3 games. So
he did. Oh yeah, well, 8-1 in one of them, or 8-2 or something. Or
yeah, I mean there were some beatdowns in there. So
yeah, I mean Bobrovsky was great, but McDavid was good, but at the end of the day, did he really make a difference when it mattered? Because he didn't, because they didn't win.
He had a lot of assists.
Yeah. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but
yeah,
it's just the frenzy around promoting him and the Oilers from the NHL, from Sportsnet, from ESPN. It was just all Oilers, Oilers, Oilers.
Yeah.
All the time. It was kind of off-putting, you know.
Oh, I think Mike DiCarlo's right. The award doesn't mean anything if you were the losing team.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. This is what I was looking for.
But that's why I don't think it should be awarded to anybody on the losing team.
No.
I mean, what are you going to do? Somebody has a great first round, but goes out in the first round. You're going to go all the way back and give it to them, even though they didn't do anything?
Exactly. But they want to, as you say, they wanted to be able to say, hey, Conn Smythe winner. And they can say it now.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. Now, I think the Oilers, to be fair, and I'm not very good at that, sad corner. More sad corner. More sad corner. To be fair, I think they actually have a really good shot at going far again next year. I think they've done okay out of the free agency and the trades after the the window opened. So I think they've done okay.
Well, and we can take a look at that. But first, the other part of the show. What are you having tonight?
Well, tonight I thought I'd be more of a whiskey guy, so I'm having the Loch Lomond malt that my sisters brought me. It's nice. It's smooth, a bit like me, smooth and warm and cuddly. What about you, my friend?
I actually just doing Old Faithful Buffalo Trace.
Right.
Big old bottle of it.
Yeah. Well, cheers, and cheers to everyone for joining us tonight.
Cheers.
You can see a lot of people out there. Mike, TZ, Newbomb, Drew.
I'm going to try to crop this to where we can actually blow it up pretty good size on the screen because it's got a lot of info.
Yes, that's the problem with these. Hang on.
Okay.
You got it? Yeah.
Yep. So here are basically all the free agency signings from each team. So I don't know. To me, well, I guess we could start with Edmonton. Edmonton picked up 12 players. Brown, you just transitioned it off.
No, all I did was click on a comment.
Brown, Skinner, Arvidsson, Perry, Janmark, Stetcher, Hamlin, Philp, Hoffenmeyer, Delia, and Carrick. So, I mean, they went out and grabbed quite a few players. Not all high-quality players, but they've got a lot of bodies now.
Drew, Cuthbert, McGrew, Cuthbert, Dribble, and Grubb. That was their top players they got, I think. Yeah, there's quantity. There's some quantity there. And you mentioned Janmark. He actually had a pretty good playoffs, I would say. Former Stars player. He had a good one.
Yeah.
So, but I think Edmonton have got a pretty good shot of going quite far next year. Now, they might not get the favourable draw that they got this year.
Right.
But I don't think they're any worse. I think they're probably going to be a little bit better next year.
Yeah. But I think there's also some other teams in the West that got much, much improved.
Yeah.
For example, the big one that we can't ignore, Nashville, Marchessault, Stamkos,
I know.
Wedgwood, Carrier, Hinostroza, Lucchini. I mean, they basically just put themselves maybe in the driver's seat in the division.
Well, they've adding those, like Marshall and Stamkos has added, what, I don't know, 80 points, 80, 90, 100 points to them if they play to expectations. So, but they shored up their defense a bit as well. I think.
And remember, down the stretch after the trade deadline, they only lost like 5 games.
Yeah.
Sure, they got beat in the first round, but they only lost like 5 games during that stretch after the trade deadline happened. So they were the hottest team.
I think you're right. I think they're in with a great shout of. I think, on the other hand, I think Dallas got a little bit worse.
Yeah,
so I don't see us finishing nearly as high next year in the division or the West. I think Nashville will overtake us there.
I think you guys would like to have kept the guy you got. Who was it
Tanev,
that you got?
Chris Tanev.
Tanev, yeah.
But we just weren't. Jim Nill doesn't give those kind of
rental players contracts.
Term. It was the term, I think, was the problem.
Okay.
And he has been, to be fair, he has been castigated for giving older players a lot of term in the past. So Tanev's, what, 35?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, was it $6 million? I mean, Mike might know, or Drew. It was like a 4-year, $6 million a year type deal. I don't think Dallas was prepared to do that. On the other hand, I think we screwed up because, and I don't care what they say, they go, oh, well, we got Dumba and we got that guy Lyubushkin from Toronto. Well, Toronto cast him off.
Right.
I think we were on plan C. I didn't think we didn't get any of the major defenders that were out there. So we ended up taking Dumba, who everyone hates in Dallas. They hate him because of what he did to Pavelski last year. Like, he's not liked, and that's a terrible signing. I was all over Twitter saying, how could you do that?
Yeah.
How could you sign that guy after what he did? And you're paying him too much for too long. And then this Lyubushkin guy or whatever from Toronto. So Toronto pick up a player that we really liked and needed, and then we got their cast off.
Yeah.
And the only bright spark in the whole thing for us is that we did pay off Ryan Suter, and he did go to the Blues. So
great. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Avs did little to nothing. We re-signed Drew in on a, basically he wants to stay here type contract.
Yeah.
Kiviranta, Dahan, and Kelly. So we got a bottom 6 defenseman. We've got, the top line kind of shored up for the next year. We still don't know what's going on with Landeskog. Don't know if he'll play this year. We don't know if he'll play opening night. No idea there. And then the Nichushkin situation goes all the way till November before anything can happen. Yeah. Most people here would still be shocked if he's accepted back into that locker room. But at the same time, you've got him signed for like another 7 years. And it's everybody's going to know if we're trying to trade him that we're just trying to get away from him. So they're going to fleece us. So there's a lot of up in the air still with the Avs from that situation, and it's kind of annoying because this should be still the middle of our window, but the Nichushkin situation has screwed us now for 2 years straight, and Landeskog has been gone for 2 years straight. So,
yeah, I still think you'll be, you're undoubtedly going to be top 3 in the division, if not top 2.
Yeah, I mean, with the players we've got, yeah, we should still be there, but it's annoying that we have these salary cap issues that are not able to be resolved because we don't know where these 2 players are going to be.
Yeah.
I mean Nichushkin still has to get reinstated once he does get back. It's not just he gets to that date and he's in. So
I wouldn't want
there haven't been any setbacks yet.
Yeah. I wouldn't want him back, but you may be.
No, but if we're paying him that much money, it'd be better to have him on the ice unless he's such locker room poison at this point that he can't be on the ice.
Can't you get Buffalo to take him or somebody else that needs to?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Mike DiCarlo is saying Leafs hired one of Dallas' scouts. That's right. They hired one of our really good, because we've had such good drafting and picking up non-draft players as well in the last 2 years that they've signed one of the guys that was good at that. So the Leafs are certainly still going for it, I think.
Yeah, they're still going for it. Nashville is opening a window.
Yeah.
At least I hope so. They've got their goalie locked in now. They brought in a few vets for scoring. We'll see.
Yeah,
loud motorcycle. We'll see a few players or a few teams that are gonna be going up into the playoffs and a few that are dropping back out, I think.
I mean, Boston got Zadorov from the Canucks. I think was a pretty good pickup defense-wise.
He's a big boy, plays pretty good defense. Not a lot on the scoring side, but
no.
He's a former Av. We had him for a few years. He will definitely put the hits down.
Oh yeah, and they did pick up Lindholm from, I think it was Vancouver. He was with Lindholm.
I think so.
If I'm right in saying.
Carolina had some good pickups too.
They did, but some teams, wasn't it like Anaheim or some didn't do anything? There were certain teams did nothing.
Yeah, Anaheim, two players. Yeah. Montreal, one player. The Rangers. See, I'm not sure how late into. See, I had grabbed this right before Cap Friendly went under, so there was more than this that happened, but this is a pretty good list of the majority of things.
The Rangers got Sam Carrick and Riley Smith was a trade. That's all. I think that's about it, really.
Is that all they did?
Yeah.
Well, then they lost a whole bunch of players.
Yeah.
so
yeah, Cap Friendly going was to the Capitals buying it and taking it off the market is pain. So let's hope somebody picks up the slack with another site as good as that, because that site was killer.
Yeah, it was a useful site for figuring out what was going on with stuff. So,
hello to another Jen 42. Good to see you.
Hey, another Jen.
Another Jen. But yeah, certain teams were meh. I don't think the Stars got any better. Not happy with the two defenders they picked up, and it's one thing to pay off Suter and get rid of that albatross around her neck, but we're paying Dumba even more. I think it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's like, what are you doing? But I think they panicked. They couldn't get the guys they wanted. They panicked because we had nobody. So,
that'll happen because you get yelled at for doing nothing in the free agency as much as you do for a bad free agency signing.
Well, they had nobody. I mean, we were short of defenders, so they had to get someone, and they unfortunately picked up two. I would say they're certainly not guys that give you points from defense. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we should look at our bracket, though, our playoff bracket. As we predicted for quite a while, it was going that way. Sumo Orange. Sumo is the winner by a long distance.
Yep, it was down to Little Chad or Sumo. It was, pretty much if Florida lost, then Chad won.
So there he is, proudly with 100 points for Florida winning. Well played, Sumo Orange.
Indeed.
Yes, very proud of you. So we'll definitely be doing that next year, but we will be setting it up a bit earlier this year. Now we know roughly what we're doing. A Bourbon and Boarding
Fantasy League.
Fantasy League for the season. What we will do is come back, but as soon as that's available to be set up, we'll do a show and get people to join in on that, even live perhaps. So,
and then I think what we'll do is draft the week before the season begins. Whatever the closest Saturday to when the season begins is, that's when we'll do the draft.
Yes.
So we'll have a sign-up type episode, then we'll have a season preview episode, then we'll do the draft, and then we're into the season. So that'll give some people some time to remember that we're back. So
yes, live draft. It'll be fun. Just continuing to look at this, though, at the opposite, at number 10, strongest player in the league, holding up the league, Mike DiCarlo's bracket 1. That's what you get for picking the Avs to win, Mike.
And picking nobody else to win correctly.
Just contrasting it to Sumo, it was pretty much over for Mike. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm not mocking you. It's fun. It's just fun.
He's mocking you.
So that was fun, though. Yeah. So the final, Sumo top, Chad second, me third, Bell was fourth. Well played, Bell. Brahma fifth, Dr. Jones sixth. The Bourbon and Boarding chat were seventh.
Yeah.
Most of these were in the same ballpark. I mean, points wise, weren't much between them. Then Smokey, then Eclay, then Mike. So well played, and thank you everyone for taking part.
Yep, that was fun.
It was.
Give us something to talk about for 10, 15 minutes every week.
Yeah.
Try to fill the time.
So I do have, somebody mentioned it in the chat, quite rightly. They mentioned, and we were talking about it before, let me transition that Corey Perry is not the guy you want on your team for next season if you want to win the cup.
He's chasing so hard.
He's chasing so hard. Luckily for him, he can see he's already got one, of course, but I think he's got one, isn't he?
I don't think so, does he?
I thought he got one with... Didn't he get one with Anaheim? Or have they never won?
I don't think he got it while he was there.
He's never got one?
I could look it up, but I don't think he's got one. Oh, he does have one with the Ducks, Mike said.
One. Yeah, the Ducks. I was pretty sure he had one with the Ducks.
All right.
But he's now lost 4 Stanley Cup finals in 5 seasons with 4 different teams. Hate to say one of those was Dallas, of course, but good luck, Corey. I don't know where he's playing next year. It's not with the Leafs, that's for sure. But,
is he playing next year?
I would imagine someone. Who is Corey?
I'm going to look through the list and see if I can find where Corey Perry is signed.
Corey Perry. It says he's playing for the Oilers.
Yep, he did get picked up by the Oilers.
He did. Wow. Corey Perry.
So he's sticking there next year, huh?
He is. So that means obviously that the Oilers are not going to win.
They're not serious. Disregard everything we said earlier about Edmonton having a good chance.
Yeah. Keely's here. Good to see you, Keely. I had one more thing from the finals. This, if I can expand it, is a magnificent save by Bobrovsky. Glove save right there. Or was it here? There it is.
It's right there.
Right there. Backwards, facing the net. His head facing the net. Sweeps his hand out backwards and saves that.
Rolls over backhands.
Yeah. So, yes, he had some wobbly games in the games 4, 5, 6, but after he was rock solid in the first 3 and he was great in the final game. So, well played, Bob. He had a rocky start in Florida as well. It wasn't exactly great.
Yeah, because he was basically playing superstar level in, where was he? Columbus,
yeah.
And then they filched him over to Florida, and then he had a little bit of trouble adjusting.
He didn't start well, that's true, but he certainly earned it now.
And probably should have actually gotten the Conn Smythe. I don't think there was anybody else on Florida that you could have given it to other than Bob, but he probably deserved the Conn Smythe there.
I think he did, to be honest. I did watch most of the last game. And at that point, I'd kind of resigned myself to the Oilers winning and going through years of pain in the media because of it, especially here in Alberta. And
I was never going to see them coming back 4 straight games.
And Florida decided they would turn up for the final game, almost as if it was written that way.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. I did want to say one more thing. Speaking of former Dallas Stars, Joe Pavelski has officially announced his retirement. Damn shame he never got the cup that I think he deserved. I guess if he'd moved about to more teams, he may well have achieved that. But he actually played in the end a third of his career with Dallas, which is unusual when you think of how long he was with the Sharks for. Faded quite badly in the last half of the season, I hate to say, and was not great in the playoffs. But can't say enough good things about him. He's been a model player, fabulous human being. There's some highlight reels out there already of tons of his goals. Great guy. So well played, Joe. Have a great retirement. Yep. Hope you get a great. He said he was going to live, but he wanted to go back home to Wisconsin. But I get a feeling he's going to get somebody will give him a good job behind the scenes. So
he'll go to the beach for a little while, continue to grow the beard, and hang out with Jumbo Joe.
Exactly. Yeah, great guy. So
throughout this whole season, my daughter got into hockey real hardcore. So during the finals, they showed Jumbo Joe Thornton a little bit, and I was like, "You guys know how old he is?" And they were like, "Well, he's got to be what, 60, 65?" I was like, "No, he's my age. He just retired like a year and a half ago or a year ago."
Yeah. Well, Joe turned 40 a couple of days ago, I think. Joe Pavelski.
Yeah.
So Thornton's he's 42 now or something? Or...
Hey, Andy. Yeah.
Hey, Andy.
Thornton's like my age, like 41, 42.
Yeah. He was a little bit older. I don't know who the oldest player in the league is now that Joe's gone.
Not sure.
I'm not entirely sure who's the oldest, so I have to look. But when the season starts, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, great player.
Yeah, Joe was well liked throughout the league, I think. So, wish him the best.
I think anyone ever really said anything bad about him, unlike Corey Perry, unfortunately for Corey.
Yeah.
But he's not retired, of course. So this another player that we lost was our long time. Ended up as our fourth line, Radek Faksa. I think he's gone to the Blues as well. Played for us for a number of years. Radek had a lot of potential, never possibly quite lived up to it. Ended up as like a fourth liner, brilliant fourth liner, but not really scoring the goals that he might have. This is his finest moment with Dallas. I remember I was at this game and it was pretty spectacular what he does here. Now, subtly spectacular.
Jumped up onto the half boards and slid across
the half boards to avoid the block, and it looks like nothing, but when you see it closer, it's really, really skillful. I hope they're going to show it again.
So with the Blues, he'll basically pull a Nichushkin and get real good.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, he's not an idiot like Nichushkin. Look at that; he just slips right by him there, and then goes on, and the goal is scored.
Don't know that I've seen that before. Grinding the rail.
There it is. So thank you, Radek, for many years of stalwart service and a wonderful little memory for Dallas.
Now, the other thing we've had in the interim since the end of the season and now, a month later, is we had the award show, which was one of the worst award shows I've ever seen for any sport or entertainment. It was painful to watch. I don't know how many people did watch it, but it was horrible. The guy they had hosting, no. I mean, it was bad. I mean, you'd have to go back and look at some of it. It was some of the most awkward, painful...
Awkward was the word.
Silent moments all night, and none of the players helped the dude out at all. They just would not give answers, would not talk to the dude. It was bad. The NHL needs to rework this very badly.
Yeah, they just don't quite get the entertainment bit, do they?
No, the players, yeah, they're not real excitable guys off the ice, apparently. So we do have a few of the awards. We'll start with the Calder and Connor Bedard's acceptance speech.
Thank you guys very much. This is a huge honor. First of all, Brock, Luke, unbelievable year. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'd like to thank the Chicago organization, management, ownership, everyone behind the scenes that makes it so easy for us to just go play hockey. My teammates, there's no individual award won on your own. I had a lot of help, and it was a great place to play. And lastly, the fans, best fans in the world, and can't wait to get back there and be in front of you guys again. And of course, my family, my mom, dad, sister, wouldn't be standing up here without you guys. So I love you guys, and thank you very much.
So, what I gathered from a lot of this ceremony was that the players, NHL players, practice speaking in monotone.
Thank you very much.
They are
so
not good at this. And when the guy was trying to interview him in the seats, they were even worse. I mean, having to give the speech is one thing, but when like he was interviewing each of the Hart finalists, everybody's just like, "Hey, yeah, it was a good year. Enjoyed myself."
Can you just imagine them? It's like I think there's an old comedy sketch. Imagine these guys when they're in bed with their partner. Ooh, yeah, baby. Ooh,
I like that.
Yeah,
right there.
I like that. That's it.
They're just not that personable.
No, well, the ones that are personable never seem to win the awards, do they? So.
Right.
But my God, I mean, I know all sports interviews are cliched, but then the hockey's got it down to a fine art,
Oh yeah, you don't say anything other than the cliches.
It's not an individual award. I can't wait to get back. Best fans in the world. But, okay, I've ticked all those off.
Yep. So then we've got two others. We've got Quinn Hughes, the first Vancouver Blue Liner to win.
I always thought of him as a television producer from the 1970s. Quinn Hughes production.
Quinn Hughes. Yep, we've got drums just like in every single arena now.
First off, I'd like to thank my teammates. It's a great group of guys, and the reality of winning an award like this is you can't do it alone, and you need really good players around you, and I certainly have that. So thanks, fellas.
He said the line.
To my coaching staff, Rick Tockett, Adam Foote, Sergei Gonchar. Great group of people. Love playing for you guys. Patrick Alvine, Jim Rutherford, thank you for your continued mentorship and trust. To the Aquilini family, Roberto and Francesco for being here, especially Michael Doyle as well. Nobody cares more about the city and the fans and our team than you guys, so thank you. Daryl Belfry, Pat Brisson, JP Barry, Brian Galvin, Will Morlock, thank you guys for everything. My family, more than anything, my brothers, it's surreal to be able to go through the same profession as you guys, and my parents, for your continued support and love. And most importantly, and lastly, to Roman Josi, congrats on a great season wherever you are, there you are. When I think Nashville Predators, I think you, and you're a fantastic player, and they're lucky to have you. And Kale, I probably love watching my brothers play most, but I'd say you're next on that list and learn a lot from you. So,
you think if it was me?
Yeah, congrats
and
on
my brothers were there and I'd won an award, I'd be going, suck it, losers.
Yeah, it's like it's like little Chad winning an award.
Exactly. Suck it, losers. I'm the best brother.
Yep. Well, did you guys pick up a Hughes?
Did we pick? I don't know. Did we pick up a Hughes?
I think you did.
You could be right.
I'm not sure which Hughes, or if it's even the same family, but I think on the list there was a Hughes for you guys.
You know what? It was such an uninspiring day for us that I've kind of
blocked out who you picked up.
Hughes. We have a Hughes,
but
but it's a Cameron Hughes from Coachella Valley.
I don't think that's one of the Hughes then.
No, it's just a Hughes.
Yeah.
We probably thought we were signing one of the Hughes. How come we're getting this guy so cheap?
The GM's like, yeah, we'll throw in Hughes.
Yeah. But we got Lyubushkin. Duchesne did sign a 1-year contract for. I mean, if he must have been sick. He signed another contract for a year with us for $3 million.
Yeah,
and he looked at bloody Dumba and Lyubushkin getting more and getting term. He must have been like, "You suckered me." You
nobody
assholes.
wins with Duchesne.
Yeah,
He's another that chases nonstop, but he really hasn't had a choice since he left us. He's not well liked in most locker rooms.
No, he's not.
I don't know about in Dallas, but
he seems to be okay.
He was
there,
poisoned here after.
Yeah. Casey DeSmith, we signed as a backup goalie. Dumba, Lind, Brendan Smith for a year. That was it.
I do have other news on the Avs. The Avalanche will be locking up Mikko Rantanen for a contract extension. So we will have McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, Taves, and a few others long-term now.
Still pretty good.
So they're basically, most of those guys are looking to finish their careers in Colorado and have already won a cup with Colorado. So They've got no reason to chase. They've got their extensions. Makar is the only one that's young enough really to go to another contract probably after this. So
no, good.
That should be wrapped up in the next few days.
Great core. Yeah.
Yep. So then we've got the only other acceptance speech that I took down. So earlier in the night, in a shock to everybody, I think, Nathan MacKinnon won the Ted Lindsay Award. So the MVP as voted by players. And then we got to the big award, the Hart, which was down to, it was McKinnon, it was Matthews, and who was the last one? Kucherov? Who were the three that were battling all season? I think it was Kucherov.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's who won that award.
Remember to congratulate the other guys this time. Congrats to Cooch and Connor. Could easily be.
So it wasn't Matthews, it was Connor.
I think everyone knows it was such a toss-up this year. So I'd like to thank the writers. Truly honored. Some of my favorite players ever have won this trophy. So super happy, excited to share with my teammates.
I don't think it was that much of a toss-up.
Award. Goes without saying.
Happy,
like Quinn said, you need great players around you. Once again, the Cronkies, Joe, C-Mac, Bedsy, all the coaches, my family, Charlotte, appreciate it, everything. Thank you, appreciate it.
Inspiring. They all look like they can't wait to get out of there.
He's at least a little bit more personality than the others.
Bit more, yeah.
But very short speech. But so that is McKinnon's first Ted Lindsay and Hart. So now all of the major players have won a Hart, all the ones that contend every year. So you've had McDavid win it, you've had McKinnon win it, you've had Kucherov win it, and you've had Matthews win it. There's really nobody else really pushing at the moment. So we'll see. Dreisaitl's also won it, I believe. That was last year, I think. So
could be, yeah.
So as far as awards, that's what we had for the NHL super fun, exciting award show.
I saw highlights of it. It was pretty dull.
Oh,
they do dull well.
If you go find any of the highlights of the actual, the MC, the guy running the thing, oh, it's so ugly, so ugly. I don't know where they got him. I mean, he's supposedly a professional comedian, but he bombed throughout the night, and it wasn't just in the room. He bombed through the TV too.
Awkward, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
cringe. It's cringy.
Nobody was giving him anything, and that almost made it watchable. That nobody would give him anything either. So he was just up there like, no, really, I could use any help I can get. I know how bad this is going. But I also got this paycheck coming from the NHL, so I'm somewhat happy, even though my career is probably over.
Except
that it's the NHL awards, so nobody was watching, so nobody saw him bomb.
When you look at the finances of it compared to the other sports, there was a table out the other day, and it's still fourth. And unlike the other sports, most of that money is through the gate.
Yeah.
As opposed to all the money that the other leagues make out of various other avenues.
Hockey's at what, a couple $100 million, and NFL is at $2 billion per year.
Well, I think it's actually 6.8 billion for hockey, but it's still like 2 billion less than the sport above it, which is way less than the one above,
which is NBA, then MLB, then
so
football.
They're not. So Snow Raid,
thanks,
hello, Snow people, good to see you. It's still the poor stepchild of sport, and I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. I don't want it to be.
I'd like it to overtake the NBA at very least. It's never going to catch baseball or football, but the NBA is such a crappy product. The NHL could use more viewers, more TV money, so that we can actually have the players getting paid for a much more difficult and injury-riddled sport,
of course,
than the NBA does. Because those guys are making bank, and the NHL players, there's a few of them that do, but nothing compared to any other sport.
No, when you look at some of the contracts that MLB guys get, one or two of those guys get
10 years, together, $250 million.
Yeah, they're getting more than virtually the entire NHL added up.
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
Well, I mean, so yeah, a 10-year, $250 million contract in MLB. That's a quarter of the salary cap for the whole team for a year, per year, on that MLB contract. So,
yeah. Oh, someone says this is part of the problem. I didn't know there was a hockey award. That's nailed it right there.
Yep.
It's funny when I click on these, it transitions to a different scene.
Well, that's weird? Because you're doing it back here, and I'm using the thing that brings in all of our chats. The one back here only has the YouTube chats.
Yeah, well, bully for you. Somebody, what was that I just read there? Oh yeah, NHL has better anthem singers.
Yeah, than the MLB at very least.
Oh, I don't know if I bookmarked it, but
I don't want to hear it again.
No, it's not to watch it. But David Coverdale of Whitesnake, who has got a brilliant Twitter feed, it's hilarious. It's one of the best. I mean, the guy just slays it with memes and stuff and humorous stuff. He actually, I'm going to see if I can find it. He sent out a meme about that. Here it is. So let me share this.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Oh yeah, this one's a rock and roll related one. So this
no, I've seen a few rock and roll related ones.
This is a Coverdale one.
Yeah.
Keith Richards.
I've seen tons of people in the lower picture, all rock stars, all have either a beer or shots in their hands, and completely wasted. But she was horrible.
It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. But you know what? I loved it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It was funny.
You would as a Canadian.
I did.
It's our national anthem.
I enjoyed the shit out of that. It was not because of that. It was just so. What else can you do but laugh? I mean, even the players, some of them were just struggling not to piss themselves laughing.
In some of those situations, the whole crowd would have taken over and started singing it on behalf of them to get them to, overpower it. But yeah, she was so bad. I don't think people even knew where the next line was going to come from because.
This is what happens when you can't auto-tune live. Even auto-tune would have struggled with that. You could have seen the machine smoking.
And you get white girl drunk. I mean, I can't sing, so I can't say much. But she supposedly, she's been nominated for 4 or 5 Grammys as a songwriter and singer.
If you couldn't do it live, what you do is you just do it as deadpan and monotone as possible. Speak it.
She was probably so drunk that she thought she was doing well.
She probably did. Oh, well, I don't mind. Nice, good-looking party girl.
It's hot girl summer.
It's white girl summer. Hang on, I can hear music.
So I think somebody had asked us to give predictions for next season. I can't do it yet. I don't know who's even on my team. So,
well, I certainly think we've talked about a couple. I can certainly see we think the Preds will be good. Predators will be good, I think.
Preds will be well, they were in a playoff spot last year, but I think they'll be vastly improved this year from last year.
I think the Oilers might actually win the Pacific this year.
Yeah.
I think they're still on a roll. I think Vancouver possibly overachieved. But I think the Preds are going to be tough in the Central. The Oilers will be pretty good.
We thought Vancouver overachieved all year.
They did, I think.
Mm-hmm. It'll be hard to reproduce that.
In the East, I don't know. I always get this every year. I go, you know what? The Devils are going to be better this year. This is the year. I think we'll leave the prediction. We'll leave the actual predictions for when we do our preseason look, because I think we'll have a slightly clearer picture of everything.
Well, we'll at least know who's supposed to be playing in the games.
Yeah, I think, and sneakily, Chicago haven't done that badly. I know they were bottom feeding there, but they actually might be mid-pack this year. I think their turnaround is going to be quicker than we anticipated.
Yeah, they signed a few players during the free agency. And who was it? San Jose got the actual first pick.
They did.
Chicago got second, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a first and a second back-to-back for Chicago.
Yeah. And
that like can't hurt your chances.
Yeah, I think they're going to turn around fairly quickly. God knows what the Red Wings are doing, though. There's a team that's been dire now for...
But they keep getting so close to getting back, and then at the trade deadline, they just dump.
They just dumped. Yeah, they dumped a ton of stuff, and there doesn't seem to be any plan there.
Yeah. Why not try to sign a couple more players in the offseason and use the team that is not... I mean, they're not really struggling through the year. They're right in the middle.
Yeah.
All they had to do was hold some players instead of trying to get more draft picks, because the draft takes a long time for anything to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you're in that top 10, 15 picks. So
I don't get it.
Wild Mad Cheesemo has entered.
Montreal will still suck. That's true.
Well, they had a single signing during the offseason.
Yeah, they're going to suck.
They're not trying.
Yeah, one thing.
Where do we think?
Sorry, go ahead, mate.
Where do you think Winnipeg will be next year?
You know what? I think they might. I could see them overtaking Dallas.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think they did have periods last year where they were pretty good. It depends whether they continue to improve on that or let it slip. I'm actually planning to go to a game there.
Yeah.
In November, so we'll see. I just not because they're going to get much better. I think we're going to get a little bit worse. That's the problem. I think we've missed our chance there.
I'm just wondering if the Avs broke Hellebuck, like permanently broke him in that first round.
Yeah,
because we dismantled him for 4 straight games. Kind of like when the Broncos played Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, and Cam Newton sucked for the rest of his career after the Broncos just completely destroyed him. Sometimes those things stick with that key player.
Possibly. I mean, we'll have to see how he starts the season, but I don't see the Jets are never going to win the Cup.
Not if Keely Chow has anything to say about it.
Exactly. They are not a Cup winning team as they're constructed today. They may be a playoff team.
Well, they were last year.
Yeah. So,
but that was mostly on the strength of Hellebuck.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right. Don't get me wrong. I hope you're correct in your assumption.
Yeah. I love having an easy out in the playoffs.
That's right. Yeah, because I think generally speaking, everyone else in the division, well, Utah, who can tell? But Chicago got a little better. They got better.
Utah is essentially just Arizona with a few signings over the summer.
So the division is tough. The Central is a tough division, I think. However,
I think the top 3 or 4 teams are tough. We'll see. But
we shall see. That's the fun bit. We shall see. And I am planning to go to Stars' first game in Winnipeg, which is in early November, I think, or early December. Yeah. Early December. So I've got that penciled in if I can figure out how to get there without breaking the bank. So, because that's an arena I've never been to. I will represent Keely Chow at that.
Yeah, he'll love that.
So one thing I did want to mention was we talked about it briefly, is that the KHL are looking to implement a new overtime rule this season that players will not be allowed to skate the puck back into their own half of the ice. And if you do it twice, it's a minor penalty. This, I think, would be good because overtime. Now, this is the KHL. If it happened, it would take years to filter through, if ever, to the NHL.
Oh, I think the NHL is looking for a change in the overtime. So if it works, they may implement it sooner rather than later. There were a few changes at the general managers meeting this year.
Indeed, because this overtime business of just constantly cycling the puck back and holding on to it. When 3-on-3 overtime started, it was hilarious. It was just everyone going for it.
It was arcade hockey.
Yeah, and it was great. And now it's like, well, I'm going to just keep cycling this thing back and back and back until somebody makes a mistake.
It was the only way to get, new players onto the ice in any real way without it just being a turnover.
I always felt the best idea would be to throw 3 or 4 pucks on the ice at once.
Whoever scores one first wins.
That's right. 3 pucks, right? Go for it.
But do that with 5-on-5.
5-on-5, but 3 pucks on the ice. Something has to be done because it's become a real snooze fest. And I know on the docket they're not necessarily going to talk about it in the next round of league and NHLPA talks, but the whole LTIR thing is on the radar.
Yeah,
and the use of it. So.
And they are going to also, I think in the GM meetings, they revise some of the rules on what you can ask for a review on. A replay review.
Because it's starting
like
to get
puck going over the wall, that kind of stuff. So
I think a lot of this has become lawfare now. I know that they did it, that like the overtime thing was done to be.
It was done to try to make it more exciting.
Yeah, but
and to not have shootouts.
There was some, but but also things like the offside stuff. It was egregious. There was egregious things happened.
Yeah. So
they said, well, you're going to be able to challenge for offside, and now you're getting challenges on goals that were scored 20 seconds later for something that's like a millimeter over. A millimeter. Player
could not see with the naked eye.
Yeah. If you can't see it with the naked eye, then what difference does it make?
Yeah.
I think it's gone too far.
Mm-hmm.
Lawfare, in my opinion. And the whole goaltender interference thing. What really is goaltender interference? Seems to vary from play to play or game to game and shift to shift.
So there were 4 new rules implemented at this last GM meeting. So you can now challenge whether the puck hit something on its way out of play, if a penalty was called for that.
Yeah.
The defensive team cannot make a line change if the net gets dislodged.
Okay.
Following an icing, the offensive center also now will receive 1 warning, same as the defensive player. And you are no longer allowed to sit on the boards during a line change.
Oh, okay.
So you get a warning, and then it becomes a bench minor. If you're sitting on the boards waiting to get on the ice,
lurk. Yeah.
You can't sit there on the boards because of the possibility of interference or interfering with the referee trying to get out of the way or skate up the ice.
Yeah.
So,
what was the second one of those that you read out?
You cannot make a line change. The defensive team cannot make a line change if the net becomes dislodged. Their net becomes dislodged.
Does it matter who dislodges it?
In the event its goaltender accidentally dislodges.
Okay, right. So, because often they deliberately dislodge it, we think.
Yeah, accidentally, deliberately.
Yeah, oh shit. What a shame.
Yeah.
It's dislodged, yeah. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, this LTIR thing needs to be sorted out because it's just been getting abused.
Mostly by one team. Yep.
I wonder who. Anyway. So I didn't have a lot else for tonight.
No, because it's been a month since the season ended.
However, I don't think it would be remiss of us to if I can just pause this, to at least have one fight. This is a random fight of no particular significance other than the fact it's a fight. Rick Tocchet and George McPhee. It was because you and I are the same. We've got all these Twitter feeds, and Hockey Fights is one of them, and it just pops up every day with a bunch of fights. I thought, God damn it, we can't finish the season without having somebody fighting. It may be an old one, but what the hell? Let's do it. Let's see some action.
Rick tries to...
There's no sound on this.
Oh, is it not playing?
Not that I hear.
Oh, that's a shame. The sound was pretty quiet in the first place, but sorry. But anyway, we saw it. We could see it.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about. We need more of that. And Rick Tocchet and George McPhee duking it out in 1986. Apologies if the audio wasn't working.
And I do have one more that I could share that is an old Red Wings versus Avs thing, since those are the ones I like to go and find and keep. So let me get that one brought up, and then we will call it a night after that.
We'll call it a season.
Yeah, that too. So this is 1996. The Avs and Red Wings getting into a stick battle. Let me see if I can get it full screen. Hopefully it's not too loud. I'll get the volume if it is.
LeFay knocks the stick out of Primo's hand. Rick tries to pull it away from Draper. Draper changes up and jumps on the ice and knocks Mike's stick out of his hand. Doug Brown pulls both over to the bench, and Keith picks both of them up.
They just keep stealing sticks.
Mike says, Keith, can I have my stick back? And Keith says, sure, Mike, let me fix it a little bit for you first. Mike says, thanks, Keith. Have a drink on me.
No, that one.
They really did hate each other.
They did, but that's actually funny because it's not a fight. It's some other way of winding each other up.
Yeah, it's no, nice. I'm not giving you your stick back. Now I'm going to break your stick. Then I'll give you the pieces of the stick back.
That's funny. Yeah.
I'll pay the $100. So.
So yes. Anyway, folks, we will be back. We'll let everybody know through our community tabs, etc., when we are going to do our first pre-season show, which will be probably centered around the Bourbon and Boarding Fantasy League for next season. Sign-ups. And then a little bit of a look at what's going on. And then we'll do a further pre-season live draft on that league. And then we'll get into the action yet again.
Yep. Action should start somewhere around October 16th or 17th.
Somewhere around about there, yeah. So
a couple months off.
And obviously there's nothing else happening in October, November that in the news that anybody would be anyway interested in. So hockey
there's nothing that could possibly interrupt this show, like something like last Saturday.
Yeah, I was shocked to see Abraham Lincoln was, because we're a bit behind the times here in Canada. Abraham Lincoln was shot apparently. So.
Yeah.
Or was it James Garfield? It was one or the other. I can't remember which one. You know what I discovered the other day, and I should have known this before, that first of all, the Star Spangled Banner wasn't made the national anthem of the America till 1931. But
Yeah.
the whole rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air was the Battle of Baltimore in the War of 1812. I think it was 1814 this happened, though, wasn't it? With the British bomb ships firing rockets and bombs into the harbor and fort in Baltimore. I didn't know that. I should have known that. I always
Well,
thought
it was
was
written all the way back then. It just wasn't made the national anthem until later.
31, yeah.
I mean, there's lots of countries that their national anthem is just a song they chose at some point.
Yeah.
And that the Star Spangled Banner just happened to be a song that they picked that is actually pretty good propaganda for the U.S. too. So
indeed, but that
it works for patriotism.
Yeah, that whole reference was about that war,
an actual battle.
War. Yeah,
because
it was the bomb, and the reason
Sousa was there and writing basically what he saw, I believe, is how it goes.
But I probably did know all this before, but I've forgotten it. But the reason is because I'm reading a book by Michael Palin called Erebus, which is about a British warship that then went on all these Antarctic and Arctic expeditions in the 1830s and 40s. Mm-hmm. But it was one of these bomb ships that the British built, first of all for the Napoleonic War. Then they used them in the War of 1812 to shell American ports.
Right.
And one of them was the Erebus. Well, that didn't take part in that battle, but it was the same design of ship. They were called bomb ships, and they had a specific purpose.
Was it different than cannons?
Yeah, mortars mainly, big mortars, like huge.
So they sent them up in the air instead of
as opposed
shooting
to cannons,
horizontally.
Yeah. They had cannons, but they had two enormous mortars, and they would shell way up in the air and down to get into forts behind them. And that's what the whole rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air was about. So, which I may have read years ago because, I'm old, I forget shit. But this is a fascinating book about that kind of ship, and one of those ships in particular. In fact, it's one of the ships that, if you've ever heard of the ship called the Terror, which they made a sort of fantasy TV show about a few years ago about Arctic expeditions. The Terror was the name of one of those ships as well. But anyway, sidebar.
Yeah. What do you got going on?
Monday's show. Don't think I'm doing anything tomorrow. I might be taking the day off. I got to prep for Monday. Monday's show will be a little bit of a music thing, but also movies. Talking about the Beatles in Hamburg and the movie Backbeat, which is a movie about that. Although it's more of a movie about Stuart Sutcliffe, who used to be the bass player in the Beatles, who was in the Beatles when they went to Hamburg. The fifth Beatle, yes. So it's a kind of a show about the Beatles, but also about this movie, which I love. So hopefully we'll be able to play little snippets of music, but we'll see. But it's a great time, a very important time in rock and roll history. And Hamburg in Germany was just this place where all these bands used to go and play in the late 50s, early 60s. The Reaper Band, the notorious Reaper Band in Germany. So there'll be a lot of talk about that.
Cool.
So that's me Monday, and then stuff will happen throughout the week, I'm sure.
Alrighty. Well, tomorrow I've got the new Bullpen show, Sunday mornings, 10:30 Mountain, with Little Chad. It's fully just a political show. So we're just covering the week in politics. We'll be covering the RNC. We'll be covering some of the other stuff that has been found out about last Saturday's shooting incident, and maybe a little bit of conspiracy theory on said shooting incident. But yeah, we've been having fun with that show. We may have a guest. I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll find out in the morning. But show's been, 3 weeks going, I think, 4 weeks going, and we started with the debate. So we've had lots of interesting politics from the debate till now. So come check it out. Keep up to date on what's going on in the U.S. political news, at least, and two of the most monotone guys on YouTube talking back and forth about politics. Truly exciting.
You're not monotone. Semi-toten, perhaps.
Right. So that's what I've got going on.
Good, mate. Good for
and
you.
then the usual stuff with comics and maybe some gaming on Tuesday night. So hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for being here. Thanks for checking out the season ending episode. We will be back at it in about 2.5 months.
Yeah, thanks everybody for sticking with us throughout the season. Appreciate it.
And watch for that announcement on our community tabs for the sign up for fantasy if you want to do that this year. We talk about it every single week. You get to get highlighted a little bit if your team's doing really good or really bad.
We'll have to think of a prize for the winner. Although I won last time, so that's that's good. But there's no point in me sending them 70s Rock Fan stickers if there's a.
Those aren't any fun anyway.
All right.
So, all right, everybody, have a great night. We will see you next season.
Take care, everyone.
Night all.